What just happened? What did we see? Dude, that finale was definitely like you got a bunch of people that are going for $1 million. It was like taking a virgin to a strip club because there was just mayhem happening. Yeah, maybe that's like explicit content because I got the blue in the background. It is damn near midnight here. Who knows what time zone I'm in? Everyone in the chat's like, what are you doing? We got the press conference going on. I'm all hyped up on the Celsius because I'm like 4 hours past my bedtime. I got to get some of that caffeine in me. But this isn't bad because it's only 200 milligrams of caffeine. It's only 2 cups of coffee. That's all. Who cares if I've already had 6? Not of these, but like cups of coffee because it's freaking midnight, 11 a.m., 11 p.m., whatever. However, I do want to make this point right away because it's on my title. I am going to have to disagree with Ricky and James Stewart, unfortunately, because I have a different view on what happened to Barsha and some of the other crashes. This is just a sneak peek at what's coming this week. So let's go through it. In this section, okay, it was supposed to be a mogul deal. Yeah, as far as the track goes, if I'm backing up real quick, I did like how they changed it at the top of the hill in the stands coming back in. You had the little inside bump, and then later you had a jump down. I personally think that jump down should have been twice as tall of a lip to get guys to go on the outside because it ended up just being a funnel. Nobody went to the outside. And if you went to the outside, you got past, but I do give it up to Dirtworks for changing it up what they did. The sand section was freaking awesome. You saw Tom Vial freaking getting out front, hammering down because there was really no whoops. But back in after the sand section where Barsha was at, yes, the quality is horrible. This is a sneak peek to what's coming this week. There was a little starter bump into what should have been moguls, but they changed it to where it was like a starter triple, or it was a little single, double, triple, single that you saw some of the 250 guys do. What happened to Barsha is he seat bounced. He seat bounced, but he was from the inside, and it wasn't he missed a shift because you've got this fast section right here. As far as the sand, what ended up happening is the bike unloaded on him. When a seat bounce happens, you're not having a little itty-bitty starter bump and then seat bouncing. Those guys were scrubbing off of that, and you saw a lot of the big guys. You even saw Jett almost get off kiltered in that second moto main event, and it's because of that starter bump. That starter bump unloads the suspension, and it gets you kicked all weird. The suspension was already compressed, and when your seat bouncing, you're trying to get the most compression. So if it already rebounds on you, it's going to get off kiltered. So if we watch this, they showed it a bunch of times. I don't know why nobody picked up on it, but watch. He scrubbed it. Okay, it's all blurry and everything, so bear with me. Scrubs it, sitting down, kicks him sideways. Not sideways, but kicks him. And he doesn't get that maximum lift. A lot of guys were preloading standing up because of this. And I really hope that Barsha is okay. And he didn't break his back because how he landed looked like that was definitely either an AC joint, shoulder, or something to do with your back. And when it came to Hunter's crash, I really think that it's either an ACL or he's got like some sort of a disc fracture or something because... that is a huge, massive bummer of what happened. If you watch the replay on that stuff, his inside leg almost looks like it's somewhat hyperextending, and then when he goes to land in the sand section, he stops. He almost does the Tomac thing where he knows something's wrong. That's either the knee or there's some sort of weird compression, herniated disc, slip disc, fractured disc in his back, which is a bummer because he's got Motocross of Nations coming up, and then he's getting on that 450 with his brother for Supercross, where there's not much time to get any surgery or anything. That is a massive blow, and unfortunately, we've seen Hunter be hurt so many times, which just freaking sucks. Man, the kid is on fire. And I say that he's a kid, but he's in his mid-20s. And it's just like, dude, and if I'm moving to Sexton, I sure as hell hope that the KTM guys can cool his ass down. Just put a cattle prod, a negative cattle prod. That's actually a really bad analogy because a cattle prod is going to like stick something up your butt and you're going to go fast. We need to calm him down. We need to calm him down. Somehow hypnotize him, get him into his happy place, get Happy Gilmore out there to get the lawn chairs out, get the babe sitting there, just, it's all in the hips. Just get him to slow the F down so he doesn't make mistakes. If I'm just looking at it, I will break more of that stuff down. I don't want to give away everything. But man, dude, I feel for him. I feel for him. And Kenny, okay, on my live show, this Friday, a lot of weird things happen, but I was telling everyone that I don't think Kenny's willing to push it because of the big payday that he's got going with World Supercross. And boy, was I freaking wrong. I was out of this world in another dimension wrong because he and Jett were the only ones hitting that quad. Honestly, the broadcast didn't show if Sexton was. I kind of am assuming that Sexton was hitting the quad because these guys weren't catching him. So I assume I broke all those lines down on my track analysis video beforehand as far as where I thought these were going to be fast, and it ended up being right for both section, which, small little pat on my back, toot my own horn just a tiny bit. I mean, somebody's got to, right? Because it's just me in here and the blue wall behind me. But man, for a Suzuki to be on his game after what he's been through in his past at 29 years old, I am flabbergasted. I am on the moon, holding on for dear life. That's what that HODL is back there. As to why and how Kenny can get this stuff done. To be able to just pull the trigger like that, there was definitely some FU games going on between Jett and Ken. And Ken was making it happen. And I thought we were going to get the gift that we got screwed out of last weekend, last couple laps, where Kenny was going to get around him. And then unfortunately a lapper got in the way and it was all history. And I haven't even started talking about the 250 class, which was crazy. But as far as my title goes, all these crashes, why were there crashes? Well, the track was incredibly fast. It was a motocross fast type supercross track, which is dangerous. The only thing that made supercross, I believe, somewhat less dangerous than motocross, yes, I'm saying this, is the sheer lack of speed. You didn't have hitting the wall at 8th gear, 249 miles an hour. At max speed you were doing was maybe 35, 40-ish, right? And the whoops and all that stuff kind of slowed you down. This track, no, it was so fast, yet you still had pretty much big rhythms, especially that quad. That quad, I'm still blown away that these heavy hitters are superhuman enough to just be like, nope, I'm just going to take this little double, and then I'm just going to quad this sucker, just pinned, and I'm going to land on a tabletop. If any of you guys have tried to triple onto a tabletop, incredibly scary. Incredibly scary, because what you have to do afterwards, you have to instantly in the air know whatever trajectory you're going to, as far as are you endoing, are you casing it, are you over jumping it, have to have pure faith in the motorcycle, because you got to land and you got to preload off because there's another obstacle coming at you, and these guys are then going to hit that obstacle and the triple afterwards, freaking WFO, which is scary as hell. So I am just blown away that we're living in a world where these guys have to be in a different dimension, simulation, something. I don't know how it's freaking possible. But why I think the riders were going down is A, it was way too freaking fast. And B, there was lots of money on the line. I mean, shit, in the 250 class, we saw Schwartz take out Jordan Smith, who just has the RJ Hampshire Sexton curse, where they just end up having one good race and then crashing the next. You're just like, dude, can these guys get a break? It's somebody like Kennard, where you knew he had the talent, but somehow he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it didn't happen. Like I have said before, the whole Bill Gates quote, success is when preparation, meets opportunity. If you don't get that opportunity as far as luck, well, you're just SOL. You're out of luck, and that's what happens. There's somebody that has a lot of luck, and that is Deegan, because he's got the preparation and he puts himself in the right spot. That first moto, however, he was out front and went to 5th. That was what was going on. He said he got arm pump, and I believe it. It's a 17-year-old kid where you've got the entire world of motocross, the community, as small as it is, of motocross going, hey, we want you to ghost ride this sucker. We want you to send that bike to the moon, maybe tag somebody in the stands like they're trying to catch a baseball, because, I'd be the one under there, be like, hey, I'm going to catch this 240-pound motorcycle with my teeth. No. But it's Deegan's bike, so I have to, because we know it's an expensive motorcycle. Yes, there's a little bit lackluster there that he did win, and he didn't ghost ride the bike. But that shows maturity as well. And that whole family, I'm blown away at what that kid has done since the Supercross Futures. I could go back in my videos and talk about, hey, he got like 5th at the Futures race, and then his first pro race he got 3rd, and I'm going, there's a disconnect here. What is going on? Is the field not as deep, or is he just that good? And I didn't think he was going to win this fast. Straight up, I didn't think he was going to win this fast. But you know what the Deegan community has done to me? They have turned me into a freaking fan. We all know that I like to be a critic, and I like to overanalyze stuff. Shit, my whole family knows that I like to overanalyze stuff. I'm a freaking fan. I am bummed at Joe, though, because the first time we got to see him rub paint was that first moto to get Deegan out of the way, and then we didn't see it the second moto. Man, I definitely... Hey, Joel, what's up, man? Appreciate the subscription. I wanted to see Joe win it. I wanted to see the underdog win it. After I heard that Hunter was out, you kind of just had a feeling that Deegan was going to take it, and he did, which is awesome. Made history. It is what the sport should be about. He's going to drop some really good content because of it, but I like the fact that, if I'm switching gears a little bit, that the points created. So if I'm going back to why there's all these crashes, it was super fast, and I'm digressing because I'm going all over the place. It's probably because all the Celsius caffeine. I'm at 800 milligrams by now. Warning, guys, don't take this many caffeine because it could adversely affect you, especially if you're live on YouTube. My point, track super fast. Number 2, you have a giant pot of gold that's dangling in front of people. So you got Joe Shimoda that's going after $500,000. The kid that's nice as the roses in my front yard decides to just grow even thicker thorns to take guys out, knowing that he's going to get something happen to him the next moto if the other rider has the opportunity. And then third, the point structure. I know it was kind of confusing for a lot of guys. I was getting a lot of text messages during the broadcast. They're like, hey, so is it moto points? Is it split points? It's like, no, it's just triple points. It's just overall points, which is great because then you got somebody like Jordan Smith who's like 5th in points. All of a sudden, he's winning the damn thing now. Like, the masterminds behind this, I have to give them kudos because it was exciting. It created good racing. The tracks created good racing. There was lots of implementation on there, and there's so much to build off of this. If I'm comparing this Super Motocross to the first year of World Supercross, Super Motocross wins without a doubt. However, this is in the same country that you've got all the resources for the people that have been still promoting this stuff. And then 2, they get to see what World Supercross did, and then they get to change it a little bit more and make it better. So now what I want to see from World Supercross is see what Super Motocross is doing. I mean, this WSX, SMX, it's getting confusing. So that they can feed off of each other. I like the triple points. That was amazing. But guys like Hunter, they didn't go out there. I think Hunter would have rode and would have risked it if it was for the Supercross championship because the contracts are built off of winning the championship. The real payday was back in May for Hunter. It wasn't this $500,000 that was dangling in front of him. Yeah, it still would have been nice, but it wasn't the big payday. He already got the big payday already done. So, Oh, and it was 20 minutes. It was 20 minutes for those guys. 20 freaking minutes. That was important. I like the 2-moto structure. I would almost like to see the triple points be moto points, because then you wouldn't see any things. And then, you heard guys on the broadcast talking about, hey, are they going to let them by because of team orders and everything? And I'm like, okay, where's the gray area here? If you do the Jett Lawrence thing and you wave Kenny by because whether you want a gift or you don't want to get passed or you want to say F you to your teammate, like, you get a warning because of a performance issue. But then we're still talking about, like, hey, well, if you're Justin Cooper or whatever, Jordan Smith, you got to let Deegan by. Like, it's okay for that. Like, it seems there's a gray area there. Yeah, there was no team orders because we saw the mix-up of all the riders. However, I'm just kind of like, okay, really, I would have expected the broadcast at least to just point it out, be like, hey, there was a warning done by Jett. The riders should not do that. They're not allowed. And I'm pretty sure the reason why we didn't see a ghost ride was a lot of everyone was going, no. Okay, that was back in the 90s. This is, we live in a hypersensitive world now. You can't go throw this motorcycle. And it's, no. We actually saw Sexton throw his helmet as he was leaving the stadium. And I doubt it's going to be a highlight reel where it's zoomed in like Deegan. And, it's a little bit of semantics because you're putting in your own biasism towards the situations that are going on. But really, I thought it was a wonderful race, and the 250s was excellent. The 450s were excellent. We got robbed yet again for a good final lap battle. And should the 450s have more laps? I kind of think they should. I kind of do. I think if it's a mix-up between the two, 20 minutes for the 250s, let's do 25 minutes for the 450s. Or, let's go 3 motos, 3 20-minute motos. I thought that would make the world a much greater place. Oh, and this live show, I keep freaking forgetting right here because I keep been blabbing, okay? We've got Precision Transport. Pat over there, he does a wonderful job. Make sure you give him a call at 877-827-0618. He owns a jiu-jitsu company as well. So if you try to screw him over, he's could probably said guys that could beat you up here. I know where I'm going with it. I'm trying to make a joke here. But no, he's helped me out. And I know he would love to help you guys out, whether you're building a track or you're lifting big, heavy stuff. He can do freight transportation throughout the entire United States. And I want to know what you guys are thinking down below, because there's a lot of scenarios that are going on. Is Sexton going to be able to cool it on the new KTM? Is Deegan going to be able to be the number one guy in Supercross, which I kind of think he is. I don't know what coast he's going to ride. Is United States going to win the MX no, we're not going to win, and it's kind of a bummer. There's a Gypsy Tales out there with Chad Reed. If you want to Google it, it's back from 2018. Chad Reed says as to why he would never go represent the country again, just because of sometimes all the hate and the lack of resources. No, all that stuff, right? That's a good one to look at. Is Joe? I personally think Joe and Deegan are going to be different coasts. That's how I would structure it, because you don't want them racing against each other. Joe can win a coast and Deegan can win a coast. So I want to know what's going to happen next year for the Super Motocross Championship, because truthfully, it should pretty much just be one championship as opposed to splitting this into 3 championships between motocross and supercross. That's just my opinion, but I am stoked for World Supercross and everything that is going. This has been a good season, and I have to say thank you to every single one of you SOBs. I mean that with the kindest heart. Okay, this is the motorcycle community. We're still a little sensitive. However, not all of us, mainly me, I really appreciate you guys. That was kind of like a diss, but it wasn't meant to be a diss. It was supposed to be like a beer hug, where it's like, hey, we're in the garage, like, I love you, brother. Even though you're my SOB, I love you, brother. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think I'm too hyped up on this stuff. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, go watch the press conference. There's so much going on for the sport. I can't believe that we still get good racing coming on here in just a few weeks for the World Supercross. And if I have anything to take away from this, is I'm blown away at Ken. I really thought Ken, with all the issues that were going on with motocross, where he would be out front and he would fade, now he's really the hard charger after 20 minutes. It's just he's figured every little loophole out, and all he had to do was ride a POS Suzuki to figure it out. Let's put this guy back on a good bike and see if it continues. Right? Okay, that's a premonition that Suzuki, please, can you make a bike that has at least an electric start? I might even buy one. Till next time, keep it WFO, guys. Brah!